So today we are focusing on the second part of the anatomy, where we actually explain about digestive system and urinary system. And as I explained earlier in the previous lab, the reason I chose a certain systems is to learn about diseases affecting those systems, and we tend to hear about them on a daily basis, but we never know the location. So in order to serve our course theme, biology in everyday life, I chose those systems because when I go deeper, it is a huge subject to start with. So after we did the circulatory and respiratory system, this is the digestive system. Now, as you can see, let me just fix this. Okay, as you can see, we are starting from the mouth. Okay, inside the mouth we have the tongue, we have the teeth that actually also produces, and we have glands produces enzymes to start to break down the food. So basically we are starting our digestion, which is the function of digestive system, from mouth as the beginning. Okay, so teeth and tongue and glands over here will produces enzyme to start the digestion. It passes through the esophagus over here, where it passes the food toward the bottom part over here. This is the stomach. Okay, and as you can see, it is wrinkled. It produces enzymes and HCl to break down the food and make it very soft. It passes through the small intestine over here. Okay, then from the small intestine to the large intestine to the anus outside the body. Sorry, to the anus. Okay, now we have also assistant organ that assist the digestion. We have the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So to go over again, we are starting from the food inside the mouth to the esophagus to the stomach. All this part the food is being digested to be absorbed. Now the absorption part happen where after we have the liver that interferes to break down the fat, for example. Gallbladder controls the minerals. The pancreas over here break down the sugar by producing insulin, and then the blood passes to the small intestine. It is also digested over here in the first area, and then in the center over here, the food is being absorbed. Absorbed where? Absorbed to the blood, meaning the nutrients is absorbed and passes to all over the body. Now the residual, the excess, will be passed to the large intestine to outside the body. Simple as that. So to go over it again, we are starting from the mouth, tongues and teeth, to esophagus, to the stomach. As you can see, it is wrinkled over here because it has HCl and enzymes to break down the food into a liquid form. Then before it passes to the small intestine, the assistant organ will interfere, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. And then it goes to the small intestine, where it continues digestion and then absorption. So the intestine over here, the small, has mainly two functions: digestion and absorption. The excess food will be transferred through the large intestine over here to outside the body through the anal part. Okay, so this is mainly the anatomy as well as the physiology of digestive system. Now, did you remember when I explained back in the circulatory system about the blood, and I told you it's a carrier and a messenger that carries oxygen and nutrients and vital blood cells. Well, the blood also carries metabolic waste, that is unwanted materials formed from the cell or dead blood cells. It will all be carried through the blood to where? To the filter of the body, the kidneys. It will be passed through the arteries to the kidney over here. The kidney, when you look at it, it looks like a kidney or a bean shape. Sometimes we call the beans as a kidney shape. We have two kidneys located in the pelvis, at the back, pelvis in your body. Now, this is a gland. I don't want you to memorize this, but I need you to focus on the kidney shape in order to know the shape of the kidney. From inside, we have that pyramid shape. It is called medulla. It looks like pyramid. And from inside that pyramid, if you look at the pyramid, it is filled with arteries and veins that actually passes the blood through. And at the end, when the blood passes through here, those round circular thing, it is called glomerulus. I don't want you to memorize the names. I just want you to understand what I'm speaking. Now the blood will pass still here, till the round figure over here. Okay? Now why? Because in this area the blood is being filtered. It will take all the metabolic waste, okay, releasing the blood fresh and healthy back to the body. And what happens to the metabolic waste? It will passes through the medulla over here, the pyramid shape. Can you imagine this? It will be passed to the renal pelvis. This is what we call it as renal pelvis. And then from here to the urethra. This is another part of the kidney or renal system, to the bladder, to the urethra outside the body. I don't have a picture for that organ, but now this is mainly, I need you to focus on the kidney itself. Okay, so as a system, renal system, it consists of the kidney, urethra, bladder, urethra. Okay, now what happens as over here, you know, now the medulla over here, the pyramid shape, it is responsible for the filtration. It takes all metabolic waste from the blood, releasing the blood clean and healthy back to the system, but it actually traps the metabolic waste to the renal pelvis, and then it gets rid of it in a liquid form. So this is the renal system. It is simple when I speak about it, but it's huge. Now, as I said again, the reason I chose those four systems as part of the anatomy, because we tend to hear about problems facing those systems. For example, in the kidney, we hear a lot about kidney stone, because while the blood is filtrating, some of the minerals will be trapped in the kidney, in any area of the kidney, forming stones. And this stone cannot be passed. It causes a blockage and pain, and it needs sometimes surgery or medicine to be interfered in order to get rid of these kidney stones. Going back on diseases, which I forget to mention at the beginning, we tend to hear about people with gallbladder stones. The minerals are trapped in here, causing stones, or sometimes ulcers. It's an inflammation in the wall of the stomach. Diabetes, people with diabetes, the problem was with the pancreas itself. Okay, so these diseases we tend to hear about, but we don't know the location of it. Some students who are nervous from having lots of exams and essays, they actually suffer from something called BMI. It's not a disease, it's a situation that happened, but people who are disease, it has another name and another situation, but I'm just explaining. Sometimes a student who is nervous will have a stomach pain. Now the stomach pain comes from where? Since this is involuntary movement, from the nervousness, it won't move. The food will be trapped, for example, in this area, okay? In this area over here. And when the food, the metabolic waste is entrapped over here and it's not moving to be passed outside the body, it will create gases, and this organ will be enlarged in a way, pressing the organ, and this causes the pain. This comes from people who are really always nervous and suffering from anxiety. So hope I actually explained it well. You will have to write a lab report about that system, all systems, all 4 systems. And as I told you at the beginning, imagine this as real organs and real dissecting. So as the procedure part, okay, you will just mention that the organs are in front of you and the instructor is teaching on the organs, okay?